You know, we had somebody on this morning who was perhaps suggesting that if they were to pursue a fabless path or a model, maybe even a potential decision could be selling them to TSMC. The other decision or thought train that I heard somebody on this morning was TSMC running a facility for them in the US. I mean, how likely are all these scenarios?
I think those are incredibly speculative at best. The CHIPS Act was all about creating resiliency here in the U.S. The U.S. needs a domestic champion. It needs a U.S.-based manufacturer of leading-edge chips. Remember, we have offshored almost the entire 100% of leading-edge chip manufacturing. And part of the CHIPS Act was about bringing it back and having a strong domestic national champion. That doesn't mean we're not investing here in TSMC, Samsung, and of course we were investing in Micron on the memory side. But Intel was really slated to be the national champion for leading edge. And I think it having its independence. Remember, Trump blocked the Broadcom acquisition of Qualcomm related to domicile issues, national security issues. This is an even bigger one. If we want a U.S.-based manufacturer of leading-edge chips for phones, for AI servers, Intel is the most likely player. So TSMC taking over or running it, that doesn't really work. And it also doesn't mitigate the risks we were trying to reduce around China and Taiwan. We really have to understand that that situation is not defined. And I think on your last interview, you were talking about Xi Jinping. Like, we do not know for certain how he plans to handle Taiwan. We do not know how the Trump-China-Taiwan relationships are going to work with tariffs and everything else. So we really need more manufacturing here. I stand by, we need a strong Intel. It may require a split to get it done, but it has to get done one way or another.
Yeah. Yes, no doubt. The argument is that the world doesn't want to rely on TSMC, obviously, for those geopolitical reasons, as you spelled out. But what does that likely scenario look like under a Trump administration, Daniel?
I think Trump is going to look for part of his legacy to be bringing back and onshoring more manufacturing jobs, and that includes semiconductors. It is expensive. I think the possibility of him looking at CHIPS Act, looking at how dollars are distributed, looking at the agreements and how much utilization and selling into China, for instance, will be part of the calculus that he is going to do. But ultimately, if part of his legacy includes bringing back 10 or 20% of leading-edge chip manufacturing to the U.S., accelerating what's being done in Ohio and Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas to create more leading edge. And by the way, taking the dependency off, forget just national technology leadership and national security, which are both very important. But I mean, just actually succeeding in this transformation of getting manufacturing back here in the U.S. is a big part of the, being the candidate that was for the people, for manufacturing. And that was how he presented himself. So this could be a big win, bringing these jobs back on shore, but also making sure that if we were to ever run into a situation, China-Taiwan situation ever escalated to a point, where do we get those iPhones? Where do those AI servers come from? And this isn't just luxury. This is how our world, this is how we live our lives today.